All right, take it away, JB. While you're typing... Oh, she stopped typing. Well, she's done. Judge Glenn McPherson of the International Court of Justice, 57 years old, stabbed to death in his hotel room. My thing. Paul Graham, freelance journalist, 38 years old, died in an accident under suspicious circumstances while driving home from an interview. The shit? Harold Bauman, CEO of the U.S.-based bank ABM, 56 years old, suffered an unnatural fracture of the cervical vertebrae in the living room of his own home. Death was instantaneous. Oh, that's good. Christopher Corner, FBI agent, 36 years old, stabbed to death from behind in the course of a special investigation. No suspect has yet been determined, but the September 6th strangulation of Benoit Robert, a 48-year-old radical left-wing member of the French National Assembly, is thought to have involved the same culprit. Joe?
Oi, JB, いるか?
The legend! The legend herself!
暗殺された人物の共通点からは犯人を限定することができず、かといって行きずりの犯行にしては恣意的要素に乏しく、人選に意図的なものを感じる。
Dude, my MO.
現時点での可能性として挙げられるのは、国内外の政治結社、東部及び南部マフィア、各国政府機関を含め多岐にわたり、外国人テロリストを含めれば48の候補組織が
I will destroy anyone who stands in the way of Oslo. Brainwashed Space Marine.
おい、なんだよ。いるなら返事をしろよ。
今忙しいのよ。大した用じゃないなら後にして。
Jesus. Alright, just...
マスコミ向けの粉飾コメントの作成中か？イラついてるのはわかるが、いいのか？そんなに邪険にして。お前が欲しがってたもの、手に入ったぞ。
Give it to me.
何よ。私、何か頼んだかしら。
ほれ、例の一家の連中が手に入れたっていう犯人の姿が映ってるビデオ。
Ooh, well there you go.
手に入ったの？
Jesus, she just fucking sat up, knocked over everything.
さすがに持ち出すのは無理だった。その代わり、犯人が映ってるシーンをプリントしてきた。見
せて！
Like right now. Oh god. I practically snatched the photograph out of Osko's hands. The camera had captured the profile of a young girl wearing gothic Lolita clothing. Ha ha ha! Joke's on you! The original was nothing but a few black and white frames coincidentally recorded by a convenience store security camera. But the images had subsequently been magnified and manipulated on a computer. But it still wasn't exactly a vivid portrait.
これだけ？っていうかピンボケ。
It's all we got.
元が VHS のビデオテープなんだから仕方がないさ。姿を確認するだけならこれで十分だろ？
Ew, VHS. No one remembers those days.
まあ、確かに。
Oh, God. At the time of the first murder, the assassination of Glenn McPherson, we had obtained testimony that pointed to an underage female as potential suspect. However, there was no eyewitnesses to the murder, so the evidence was entirely circumstantial. And more importantly, the culprit had exhibited remarkable brutality and skill. You're damn right I did. Given that it appeared highly likely our killer had undergone intensive specialized training, the little girl theory had been considered somewhat implausible.
普通に可愛い子ね。服の趣味はどうかと思うけど。
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
子供を暗殺に使う組織も珍しくはない。これまでうちが扱ってきた案件の中にも何件かあった話だ。
Like, honestly, that's like one of the most unsuspecting things. It's just a kid. Like, what do you think they're gonna do? And then, well...
でも、 子供が関わった場合は銃か爆発物を使うのが普通でしょ。でもこの事件で使用された凶器はボールペンだわ。
It's gonna end up being like I killed a man with with my damn thumb. Like it doesn't even.
ボールペン？なんかの隠語か？
No, literally just a ballpoint pen.
いいえ、言葉通りただのボールペン。そこらの文具店で普通に買えるどこにでもあるものよ。これがその時の資料。
Oscar's is like, I like this one. Maybe I can take him in somehow.
顎の下から脳幹を一直線に貫いている。即死だな。いい腕だ。
Ah?
感心している場合、この防犯カメラの画像を見ればどう見ても12、3歳の子供じゃない。信じられる？
I have already fooled you by making you believe that I'm a woman. Asians can sometimes appear younger than their age, but no matter how you looked at it, the girl in the image was clearly a child.
ソマリアでは一個の缶詰のために子供が人を殺すさ。
Oh God, because they're fucking starving.
そういうことを言ってるんじゃなくて、
それにうちの会社だって人のことをとやかく言えるもんか。私もお前も会社が養護施設から買い取った子供だったじゃないか。
確かにそうね。
Young people with no relatives make convenient tools. You can use them any way you want without much in the way of consequences. Any organization in our field takes advantage of that to some degree. It's not as if my own childhood was exactly idyllic. I wasn't nearly naive enough to be shocked by something like this.
でもだからこそ腹が立つんじゃない。判断力の未熟な子供を利用する大人の醜さにヘドが出そうだわ。
Does it count if I've lost everything, like the will to actually live? Or not even the will to live, I mean, that I'm emotionally dead?
できるやつには仕事を与え、できないやつは切り捨てる。社会ってのはそういうもんだ。
Jesus.
私たちのようなガキにはその選別の時期が他より少しだけ早く来た。ただそれだけのことだ。人間は平等なんかじゃない。それでも限りなく平等に暮らせるように、まずは平和を。それが私たちが泥を噛む理由だろ。
There can never be peace.
誰かに期待をするな。期待するから失望もする。できることもしないで文句だけを口にするクズにはなりたくないから、私たちは汚れることを覚悟した。違うか？
I agree. I'm just nodding along.
違わない。
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
でも私たちがそうだったように、こんな子供にその判断ができているとは思えない。
The urge to kill rising. King.
何かを守ろうと思えば何かが犠牲になる。それは仕方がないこと。だからといって子供を犠牲にするやり方に賛成はしたくない。
I mean, honestly, using children is pretty fucked up to begin with, and then in Yuuji's case, it's just he's like, what have I got left? Like it, and the murder.
だから根絶やしにするんだ。
Oh my god.
根絶やしは無理。でも減らせるものは減らす。
No, we will wipe them out. Oh my god.
見えるところしか掃除をしないのはお前の悪い癖だ。
住みにくくなれば家ごと爆破しようとするのがあなたの欠点よ。
I like it.
なんとでも言え。あと何年生きられるかなんてわからないが、私は死ぬまで全力で行く。
Oh no.
相変わらず無責任ね。私が死んだ後も戦い続けることができる足場を後輩に残してから死ぬわ。
まあいい。こういうくだらない話はまた今度飲みながら続けりゃいいさ。 それよりも表向きはどうであれ、お前の中では犯人の目星はついてるんだろ？教えろよ。
ヒース・オスロ。
Hey, I've been saying it right. Jesus, I'm good.
だろうな。
And I never say names right. Like ever.
狙った相手や子供を使ったゲスなやり口から見ても、真実はどうであれ、あいつが裏で手引きしていると言われれば、ああ、なるほどなと膝を打ちたくなる思いだ。
That's crazy. In present day, he's still around. Like, just skeeving around. Still. Like, it's just crazy.
国籍、年齢は不明。撮影された写真はどれもこれも人相や特徴がバラバラ。分かっているのは、スイスとフランスで外人部隊にいた元傭兵で、今は兵器開発企業の雇われテロリストということ。最近兵器や高信頼性代替核弾頭の開発に関わっている関係上、犬猿ながらもサムおじさんとはお友達。世界中で複数の企業を経営、国内において複数の名前と同数の社会保障番号を持っていて、きっちり税金まで納めてる。
We can't get him. It's impossible.
忙しそうな男だな。本当に一人の人間なのか？
サムおじさんだって一人じゃないわ。
よし、休みの日にビール片手にパスタを茹でてるやつから殺そう。
なんでよ。
実は暇そうにしているやつが本物ってのが定番だろ？
やめてよ。暇そうな人間を片っ端から殺していったら、真っ先にうちの課長が殺されるわ。
I'm on it. Oh no.
ヒース・オスロか。来月の作戦の話は聞いているか？
Fill me in. I need this.
ああ、ノルウェーの？
I need it. Tell me.
オスロのアジトに直接乗り込んでギッタギタにしてやんぞ作戦。
That's the best name ever in this.
何よそれ。まだ正式な作戦名は決まってないでしょうに。
It does now.
だから私が作戦名を考えてやったんじゃないか。
Jesus.
わかりやすくていいだろ？
Hold on, I need to go back. I need to Operation March into Oslo's lair and blast it all to hell. I love it.
却下。
No!
なんでだ？
Yeah, what the fuck, JB? This is bullshit. Whatever. We'll figure something out. The name Heath Oslo first began to appear in government records in the early 1970s. At the time, the authorities marked him as an active conspirator in multiple acts of terror directed against Israel and the world's major powers. The truth was more complex. He was sowing the seeds of conflict all around the world, but also building a network of connections, which he used to put out the fires he'd started, earning a profit every time. I fucking hate this man. Before long, he'd established secretized corporations all around the world, rapidly building up significant personal wealth and power. And eventually, the words Heath Oslo came to be used in reference to an organization rather than an individual. It's sometimes said that domestic enterprises are the true enemies of nations. Oslo was case in point, as he wormed his way deeply into the world economy. Influential individuals began to find his existence disagreeable. Numerous attempts were made to assassinate him or bring him into custody. None succeeded, because you can't. However, America didn't mourn the failure of these plans too deeply. If anything, they were relieved. Goddamn America. Because they're all buddy-buddy. In this era, there were surely more subtle and skillful ways Oslo could have been dealt with, but actually capturing him would have been a bit anticlimactic. The fires he started were an economic stimulant of sorts, so the idea of snuffing them out for good was honestly somewhat unappealing. These days, tactically understanding this sort of thing is what marks you as a savvy operator. But following orders that subtly discourage you from actually chasing down your target is always going to feel absurd. Given this, it wasn't especially surprising that something like the Norway operation might fall all the way to a freshly minted second lieutenant. There was only one real problem. The dog this inexperienced second lieutenant would be dispatching into the field was a bit on the rabid side. In other words...
朝子やりすぎ
Uh-huh.
知るかボケ。
When Kusakabe Yasuko saw someone she didn't like, she'd snap at them, no matter who they might be. And I failed to hold her leash tightly enough. Had we actually captured Heath Oslo, at the least the matter would have been at an end, one way or another. But instead, I was left to regret both the missed opportunity and my shortcomings as a commander. Long story short, we failed to get our hands on the man, although we succeeded in surpassing his core organization. Alright, I mean, the raid did produce some benefits. We gave Oslo his customary slap on the wrist, implicitly warning him not to get too carried away. That's just like, alright, we failed, just, Don't, you just, you stop it, you calm down. But we also gained a number of new problems in the aftermath, some messier than others. The commander of the raid itself offered the following comment.
お前の睨んだ通りだ JB。屋敷の地下で面白いものを見つけたぞ。
Oh no. In the words of Kusakabe Yasuko, it was something interesting. But for a tactician like myself, it was nothing but a headache. Ah? Hello? In the basement of the mansion Heath Oslo had been using as his base, we discovered an individual suspected of participation in the assassinations I'd been investigating. Ah? Specifically, the girl who'd perpetrated the murders in Gothic Lolita costumes. While that was surprising enough, it also turned out that she was in fact a young boy. Ah! It's me!
疲れた
Me too. JP's so done already. We dug up something incredibly troublesome this time. I was at my wit's end trying to figure out how to proceed. For the time being, we took our suspected assassin into protective custody and began to interrogate him. Oh no. The boy's name was Kazami Yuuji, occupation not student yet. I'm more occupation terrorist, but that's fine. Once we had that information, it was fairly easy to discover how he'd come into contact with Oslo and the circumstances that had turned him into the pawn of a terrorist. Oh. However, the boy I met in the hospital was in no condition to tell us more. His health had deteriorated as a result of spending an extended period of time underground. Oh, I was just down there. And his mental state was extremely unstable.
先月の18日あなたがどこで何をしていたか詳しく教えてもらえる
I don't remember. As the desperate excuse of a criminal, it's something of a cliche. But in Kazami Yuji's case, it was most likely a perfectly honest statement. His memory had been damaged by an experimental doping regimen unethically administered to him by the research and development side of Oslo's organization. By placing his mind into a clouded state not unlike intoxication, they robbed him of the ability to remember anything except the orders of an absolute authority figure, compelling him to obey. Combining this with the thorough brainwashing program based on data gained from many clinical trials, Oslo had reduced Kazami Yuuji to a mechanical killing machine with no free will whatsoever.
家族に対する強いコンプレックスにつけ込んだ洗脳だろうな。あるいは親兄弟の死に関する精神的外傷を利用した最低の洗脳だ。
It was that one.
誰かを殺さなければ代わりに親や兄弟が死ぬ。もしくは親兄弟の仇討ちのために誰かを殺すように仕向けられたか。
Or just killing.
どちらにしろこんなガキが背負うには重すぎる業だ。薬で頭が飛んでる分まだ救いがある方だ。
Kazami Yuuji remembered quite literally nothing except his own name. At first, it wasn't clear if his memory had been damaged by the drugs, or if he was unconsciously sealing off the things he didn't want to recall. But the boy's own behavior soon convinced us it was likely the latter. Oh, jeez. When discovered during our raid on Heath Oslow's mansion, Kazami Yuuji had been bound hand and foot in the basement, his entire body covered in wounds. Hey, how's that? How come you're treating me this way? I've been assassinating targets for you all around the world. Come on. This is bullshit. At the time, we interpreted this as evidence of chronic abuse, but after liberating him, we began to observe fits of violently self-destructive behavior on his part. And realized we'd misunderstood the situation. The boy's mental breakdown was already well underway. He believed that his right hand killed of its own accord, sometimes even against his wishes. Oh, Jesus, not the demon. Whether friend or foe, he was prone to randomly lash out at anyone who might come into his sight. When no target was available, he'd attempt to kill himself instead. It seemed as if someone had ingrained these impulses into his mind, as if that someone was the only person capable of stopping him. Ooh, Jesus.
風見雄二について調べてみたわ。間違いなく日本人ね。姉を事故で亡くし、両親も少し特殊なケースで死亡している。
No, my sister's gonna be fine. I assure you. It's neither here nor there, though.
孤児になった彼を引き取ったのは、香港籍のリー・レイシュンという男ね。この男がヒース・オスロと何らかのつながりがあったか、もしくはこの男がオスロ当人か。
おそらくそいつに洗脳を受けたんだろうな。標的を親の敵、姉の敵と信じ込まされて戦わされる。周りは全てが敵であり、味方は我々だけだと吹き込む。よくある手口だ。そして今回、あのガキが唯一の味方と信じていたものを私たちが武力で解体してしまったわけだが、その責任をどう取るつもりだ？
Take care of me, raise me, turn me into who I am now. Help.
責任も何も、日本に送り返してしかるべき病院に入院させるだけよ。
That's not good enough.
今後お前はもう二度と私に向かって無責任だなどという言葉を口にするなよ。お前の方がよっぽど無責任だ。
私にどうしろと？
Take him.
ガキの頃、最後まで面倒が見れないのなら、犬や猫を拾うなと養護施設のババア先生に言われたのを覚えているか？人間の子供だってそれは同じことだ。面倒を見る気がないなら拾うな。拾ってしまったのなら最後まで面倒を見ろ。それができないのなら責任を持ってあいつを殺してやれ。
Oh my god. Just, I might be a problem child though, so.
言ってることがむちゃくちゃだわ。
家族もいない。唯一の味方もなくしたあいつに残っているのは自責だけだ。手足を拘束されながらも自傷行動をやめようとしない。今のあいつに必要なのは医者でも薬でもない。あいつの功績を褒めてくれる人間だ。
Like someone who will actually love him, care for him, you know, like someone who he can call family, I guess. That isn't a piece of shit terrorist.
洗脳で暗殺を行うようになったガキに共通するのはいつも同じだ。求めるのはよくやったと褒めてくれる人間。それこそ父親のように常は厳しくも時には自分を認め褒めてくれる人間。頑張ったなと認めてくれる人間が必要なんだ。
それはあなた自身の経験から来る発想でしょ？
ああ、そうだ。ガキのようで申し訳ない話だが、事実私もそんなガキだったし、風見雄二もまた見たままのガキなのだと理解してほしい。
私に風見雄二の母親になれと？
お前には無理だな。あいつを理解してやるには大人すぎるし、それでいてお前は子供のように残酷だ。
どうしろってのよ。
あいつは日本に送り返すんだろ。私も来月には日本に戻る。ちょうどいい。あいつは私が引き取る。
There we go. See? Where everything's coming up Millhouse.
ちょっとあなた自分の立場ってものが分かって言ってるの？
何か問題があるのか？
問題があるに決まってるじゃないのよ。
ならその問題を何とかするのがお前の責任だな。まあ頑張れ。
I like her. Guess you're handling it. See you later. And so, the child we found in a terrorist den was sent back to Japan, and I worked myself half to death getting Kusakabe Asuko, who transferred to our Japan branch, registered as his adoptive parent. See? Come on.
なんでお前まで日本に来ちゃうんだよ。
Alright, what's up?
仕方がないでしょ。あなたが風見雄二を引き取る上での条件の中に、私があなたたちを監督するって条件がついちゃったんだから、誰のせいだと思ってるのよ。
Had to be done.
ああ、そうかい。
そうか言って、それだけ？なんかもっと他に言うことあるんじゃないの？
相変わらずうるせえ女だな。出ちまった結果にいつまでもグダグダ言ってんじゃねえよ。
あんたってばいっつもそう。後先考えずに行動して出ちまった結果に文句を言うなって。
And she's so done already.
面倒が残れば全部私に押し付けて勝手すぎるのよ。もうついていけないわ。
I like this dynamic.
うぜえ。
うぜえって言うな。
That was Kusakabe Asuka for you. The woman had always been this way, ever since the day I met her. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh my god.
昨日入った新入りってのはお前か？心づけはどうした？
Palm grease? Hold on, are we having a flashback in a flashback? What the shit? On a certain cold November morning, I looked up at a figure perched imposingly on a slide in the orphanage playground and found a small Asian girl looking down at me scornfully, her arms and legs crossed in the pose of a prison gang boss.
心づけ？
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a phrase I'd heard before. Most likely it was a slang term that didn't mean much of anything except to the children of this orphanage. So you know she's tough because she has a band-aid on her face and a band-aid on her knee. That's how you know she's tough. But since I'd only just arrived, I didn't have the slightest idea what the girl was talking about.
心づけってのはあれだ。簡単に言えや、貢ぎ物だ。
I don't know what that is.
ないわよ、そんなもの。
I got no palm grease. Is that like elbow grease? I didn't even have a wallet, much less anything I could offer in tribute. I knew some adults would sell their own children for a bit of money, but this was the first time I'd met a child who'd try to squeeze cash out of a penniless little girl. Quite the place I'd come to. Even the clothes on my back were on loan from the orphanage. What else could she possibly take from me? I didn't have anything other than my life. There you go.
だいたい私が何かを持っていたところで、それをあなたに差し出す理由がないわ。
Because it's a tribute.
理由がない。理由がないか。確かにないな。だがそれが礼儀ってもんだし、ここで上手に暮らしていくためのルールだと言ったらどうする？
誰が作ったの？そんなルール。
私だ。私は私の作ったルールにしか従わない。
Yeah.
だったら従わない。従う理由がない。
Can we talk about real quick? JB sounds like she's dead right at this point. Like she's dead. She's done with the world. And
生意気な女だ。お前、年いくつよ。年下だったら承知しねえぞ。
8歳。
aw, poor little 8-year-old JB.
ダメかよ。
ダメ。
What?
同い年って意味だ。そんぐらい知っとけってアホ。
I don't know this hip young lingo. I'm too old for this, which is weird because this is like in the 19 something somethings. Like I don't.
あなたの言葉、方言がきつすぎるわ。
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
余計なお世話だ。首絞めながらはめ殺すぞクソ女。
Oh my god. So aggressive and I love it.
ちょっと、どこ行くのよ。
てめえは保護観察の天下りババアか。どこへ行こうと私の勝手だ。ついてくんな。
I own this place. Like,
別にあなたに興味はないけど、厄介な女を避けるためにも、名前ぐらいは教えていきなさいよ。
I gotta know who to avoid.
朝子。ASAKO で朝子。
Got it. Wrote it down in the memory banks, and we're not gonna talk ever again.
私はジュリア。ジュリア・パルデラ。
That's too long.
ブロンド丸出しのダセえ名前だな。ムカつく名前だぜ。
I'm just gonna call you JB. How's that?
よし JB。
Yep.
入所祝いだ。一つだけタダで教えてやる。
Oh, I like free presents. Please.
JB?
There it is.
ジュリアなんて名前恥ずかしくて口にできるかよ。なことより、いいか？よく聞け。お前がなんでここに来たかは聞かない。だからお前もくだらねえことは聞くな。それがここのルールだ。わかったか？
So it's just like a understanding that you ain't asking questions, I ain't asking questions. And there you go.
聞かれると困る過去でも？
まともなやつが入るような施設かよ。自由がない上に飯がまずい。真面目なやつほど損をする。ここは刑務所と変わらねえ。
That moment an orphanage is basically a prison feels real bad.
つまり、一番上手に生きている人間のそばにいればいいってことよね。
Smart girl.
特別にもう一つだけ教えてやる。ここでよろしくやってくルールその2だ。草壁朝子に近寄るなだ。分かったか？私の周りに面倒事を持ち込むな、腐れまっこ。
Jesus Christ.
きっとそれは神の言葉にも匹敵する絶対的な真理ね。
I love how JB could just talk back. 2 days later, I learned from one of the nuns that Kuskabe Asuka was the name of the single biggest problem child in this orphanage. Her personality was belligerent. She was cold-hearted and brazen, cunning and quick on her feet. On the whole, she was a nasty little piece of work. And as of my 3rd day there, she was also my roommate. Ah, shit. Just being around Asuka would bring you no end of trouble. So no one was really eager to share a room with her. Did I even get a choice? Did JB even get a choice? As the new kid, I naturally ended up getting saddled with that privilege. Nope, didn't get a choice.
よー、お前ベッドどっちにする？
Ooh, they both look like bricks. The room assigned to us was a very small one. More than half of the floor space was occupied by a bunk bed. The walls were bare, undecorated concrete with a... Wait, the walls were concrete? Okay, whatever. With a single small window for ventilation. And the only source of warmth was an oil heater planted on the floor. God, this is prison. Still, as a space to sleep in, it was adequate enough.
した。
I actually like... I don't... Well... If we're talking a bunk bed, I feel like being on the top is safer just because if you're on the top and for some reason if the bed breaks and you come tumbling down, you can end up crushing the person on the bottom. Not waiting for Asuko's reply, I tossed the pair of pajamas I'd been given onto the lower of the two beds.
いいのか？ヒーターが近いから暖かいような気がするが、下段は寒いぞ。
It's because heat rises. So the one on top is, of course, gonna get warmer.
寒いのには慣れてるわ。それに、夏は逆に上が暑くて、寝られたもんじゃないわよ。
Ain't that the fucking truth? I know that life.
夏になる頃には新入りが増えて、また部屋替えになるさ。まあ、好きにしな。
Oh no, you two sticking together forever. With that, Asuko clambered up to the top bunk, threw herself down on it, and didn't say another word. It was like living with a reptile. I didn't have any idea what she was thinking. When told to do something, she'd gleefully disobey. She'd broke any rule imposed on her, but stubbornly enforce the one she's made up on her own. That childish obstinance won Asuko plenty of enemies, of course, but after some time as the girl's roommate, I began to understand the basic principles behind her behavior. And when I applied that knowledge, I found that it wasn't impossible to control her. Before I knew it, keeping Asuko from running wild became my job at the orphanage. So I looked up. Oh, God.
Julia!
What?
はい、シスターマーガレット。何かご用でしょうか？
What Asuko do this time?
あ、ジュリア。朝子はどこ？
知りません。
I don't know.
知りませんでは困るのよ。あの子また罰当番のトイレ掃除をサボって。
Oh, God. Think of all the piss stains that are on that toilet. Of course she doesn't want to clean that up.
は
ハートは何です、ハートは。あの子の管理はあなたの仕事でしょ？
Bitch, am I getting paid? I don't think so. Actually, I think that would be your job. Damn! It would have been a nice retort, but I kept it to myself. My position as Asuko's supervisor had gained me some real benefits, so I hardly had the right to complain. Okay, so I am getting something out of it.
探してきますか？
お願いよ、ジュリア。見つけ出したらすぐに私の部屋に連れてくるように。
わかりました。
Fucking JB just sounds so dead. She's so done with life. At the time, there were a number of factions in the orphanage where we lived, and Asuko was constantly in conflict with multiple groups at once. It hardly mattered if she was up against boys or girls. She'd punch them and kick them and leave them all crying. Whenever I got wind of a fight, I'd rush over to intervene. Unfortunately, I usually showed up right after the girl had made her getaway, and just in time for the nun to arrive and punish me in Asuko's place. Wait, hold on! The shit! I hate this job.
思い返せば、あなたと出会ってからはそんなことの連続だったわ。ああ、腹の立つ。
God, I feel your pain now, JP. This is bullshit.
そんな生活が6年も続いて、ようやくあなたの世話から解放されたかと思えば、海軍幼年学校でまたもやばったりと再会。
Just holding her head, frustrated.
しかも宿舎も同じで部屋も同じ。当時は何かに呪われてるんじゃないかと真剣に悩んだわ。
That's that them there Asuko curse you got there, JB.
同じ養護施設から同じ時期に売り飛ばされたんだ。買い取り先が同じだったところで不思議はなかろう。実際同時期に軍に売られたのは私たち以外にも3人いた。
未だに生き残っているのは私とあなただけだけれどね。
Oh, that one real feels bad, man, super quickly.
そりゃ観光美母試験に受かったお前はまだしも、私らみたいなのはすり減ってなんぼだ。ああも惜しげもなく実戦投入されれば片っ端から死んでくさ。
Oh, they were frontline infantry. Oh, jeez.
私がデスク、あなたが実動。お互いの進路も変わって、綺麗さっぱり過去を忘れてやり直せる。 そんな気概にあふれていたのもわずか2年。
But then you came back.
作戦部勤務になって情報課の椅子を手に入れたのもつかの間、ケースオフィサーとして初めての作戦に実動として送られてきたのが草壁麻子。
Very first job.
それってどういうこと？私はいつまであなたの面倒を見なければいけないの？
Oh God. Yes.
言っておくが、私の口からお前の名前を挙げたことは一度もないぞ。上が勝手に決めたことで私に文句を言うな。
Not gonna lie, that's pretty funny. JB just constantly her whole life having to deal with Asuko. I love that.
わかってるわよ。でもね、今回もまたあなたの言い出したわがままの尻拭いで私まで島流しよ。少しは同情してくれてもいいんじゃないかな。
Into exile. I guess that's what we're calling it.
いいじゃねえか。軍に残ったところで差別されて出世もできない。
Damn. I mean,
ラングレーに飛ばされたところで戸様扱いのミソッカスで回ってくるのはゴミ処理にも等しい汚れ仕事ばかり。
yeah, this is probably better anyway. Best not do that.
だったらいっそ赤坂でも市ヶ谷でも行って階級を2つばかり上げてもらった方が得じゃないか。
そんなの閉店という名の左遷だわ。
JB.
だが給料は上がるぞ。同じ汚れ仕事なら金払いのいいやつに尻尾を振るべきだ。
私は犬じゃないわ。
そうか？私は犬だ。犬がいい。犬のように生き、犬のように死ぬ。どこかの交差点でぽっくり死んでも死体は国が始末してくれる。手間がない。最高じゃないか。
That's a woman that's accepted this lot in life. Jesus.
いいわよね、あなたは気楽で。
そうか？仕事変わってやろうか。
I can't even imagine.
結構よ。
I can't imagine Asuko being being the officer while JB's the frontline infantry. I just can't.
だよな。っていうか、お前には無理だ。
Is that a challenge? No, JB knows.
いつまでうなってんだよ。諦めて働け。
決めた！車買う！
Oh God.
は？なんだ急に。どうした？
Is it gonna be the car we think it is?
何か自分にご褒美あげなきゃやってらんないのよ。買う！高い車！新車で買う！
I think it is.
ああ、まあ好きにしろよ。別に止めやしねえし。
Damn, she's straight buying that new car now. It's expensive too.
朝子、あなたはもらったお金どうするの？貯金？
いや、実は私はもう買った。
Uh,
もう使っちゃったの？何を買ったのよ？
all of it?
ふふん、おめえには秘密だ。
Damn it, you tease.
教えなさいよ。法に触れるようなものに手を出したんじゃないでしょうね。
Illegal.
お待たせいたしました。風見雄二の退院と引き渡しの手続きが完了しましたので、病室へご案内いたします。
Because I'm still like tied up, like biting myself or something.
おう。
おうじゃないでしょ。何を買ったのよ。
Oh, Lord. Abandoned dogs are abandoned for a variety of reasons. In my case, Burp and Asuko's, the reason involved are parents' problems. That's probably the single most typical situation. Some people can't afford to raise their children. Some are inclined to violence and abuse. Some become parents before they're really adults themselves. And that is very much apparent in this fucking day and age. Let me tell you. Situations like that naturally give rise to victims. Kazami Yuuji, occupation terrorist, ex-terrorist, I guess, was just another perfectly ordinary case. Another child whose life was disrupted by his family circumstances. That said, ordinarily, we accept that a child who's suffered such hardships will be saved once they're over. But the man who took in Yuuji after the death of his family was, of all things, an international terrorist. The random cruelty of it was unspeakable. Not only had his parents failed him, his foster father had trained him to bite anybody who touched him. A traumatized puppy tottering down the path to ruin without a hint of doubt in his mind. That was Kazami Yuuji in a nutshell. This kid's going to be a real pain. Looking over the documents we'd put together, Hosko had heaved a heavy sigh, and I'd found myself more or less agreeing with her thoughts on the matter. Hospital rooms have a distinctly ominous smell, regardless of what they're used for. In most cases, it's faint enough to be overwhelmed by the scent of chemicals, so you'll barely even notice. But when Hosko and I entered Kazami Yuji's room that day, the air was thick with a dark smell, too strong to be erased by that disinfectant.
少しは顔色が戻ったようだな。
I know, doing... Kazami Yuuji was sitting halfway up in bed, his back against a pillow, an IV connected to his arm. Oh man, I remember when I had an IV connected to me. Back when they told me I had pneumonia and bronchitis at the same time and that I was gonna die if I didn't come in. Whew, that was a scary day. His face was frozen and blank, completely devoid of emotion. He wasn't doing anything other than drawing breath. The boy was, in other words, the very picture of an invalid. At the time of his rescue from Oslo's nest, Yuji's mind had been clouded by an extreme vitamin deficiency. He didn't even remember being rescued by Asako. At a glance, I saw that the crooks of his elbows were full of holes from where the IV had been inserted. So many needles had been poked into the backs of his hands and feet that their skin was bruised and black. According to the nurse who'd been in charge of him, he wasn't even trying to eat, and when they forced him, he'd vomit or develop diarrhea. Ugh. There had been no choice but to rely on IV feeding and constant medication. Kazami Yuuji was thoroughly convinced he'd had beaten his own father to death. That his mother had died because of him. Oh, I mean... Even quickly looking over the papers, it was obvious he'd gone through more than any child his age was equipped to endure.
こんな子を退院させていいの？
Probably not, but fuck it.
この手の面倒なガキを入れておく病院も稀なら、ベッドの数も多くはねえだろう。さっさと放り出しちまいたいんだろうさ。おい、風見裕二。お前がこの病院にいると邪魔なんだとよ。さっさと出ていくぞ。40秒やる。準備しろ。
Just out with it.
そんな言い方。
He'll get used to it.
どうした耳が聞こえないのか？返事をしろクソガキ。
Ow.
ちょっと殴らないで。
Thanks, Mom.
ん？なんでだ？どうせ誰もいらんガキだろ？なら拾った私のもんだ。捨てる神あれば拾う神ありってな。おいユージ、こっち見ろボケ。私を見るんだ。
I'm dead inside. ...
いいか？私がお前を拾う神。神様だ。
Oh,
分かったか？
Don't bring up the god shit. I have a real problem with that considering Kazuki. ...
返事ぐらいしろよ、殴るぞてめえ。
You're injuring me. I don't feel pain anymore.
殴りながら言わないでっていうかポンポン叩かないで。おもちゃじゃないのよ。どうしてもっと優しくできないの？
I feel like gentle isn't in her like dictionary.
バカかお前。この手のガキってのは優しくされることに慣れてね。自分は優しくされるだけの価値がある人間だと思っちゃいないから、逆に優しくされると敵だと思う。
You gotta act tough with them. Okay.
下手に優しくされてもどう対処していいかわからねえんだよ。だったらゴミくず扱いされた方が従いやすいってもんだ。そうだろ？少なくとも私はそうだった。
I guess I get that line of thought. It's not like I'm gonna be abused or anything. It's just, you gotta be tough. ... Still emotionally dead.
いいかユージ、所詮この世はクソダメだ。救いなんかない。特にお前のようなウジ虫に手を差し伸べる奴はいない。
I feel like I already know that.
善人ぶって近づいてくるやつほどやべえってのはお前自身が嫌ってほど知ってるはずだ。私はお前に優しくなんかしない。お前が一体何の役に立つのだろうとか、何のために生まれてきたのだろうとか、そして何のために今もまだこうして生きているのだろうとか、全部どうでもいい。くだらねえ。
God, I feel this.
ガキがそんなものを考えたところで答えなんざ出るわけがねえ。それは私が適当に決めてやる。お前はただ分かったと神である私についてくりゃいいんだ。分かったか？
Wanna know what happened to the last god I knew? She died. Oh my god. Oh no. I mean, we all.
くそめんどくせえ。いいから来い。お前はもう私のもんだ。逆らうな。
I feel like I don't have any lip to give. It's already done. I'm pretty sure Asuka was trying to tell the boy to start moving forward instead of worrying endlessly, but her somewhat forceful approach just seemed to push Kazami Yuuji even further into his shell. She tried. The boy wouldn't react even when she thumped him or cursed him. Losing her temper, she practically dragged him out of his hospital bed, then took him straight back to her home. It's gonna be the... Although calling it a home might be slightly misleading. To put it mildly, Asuka wasn't a fan of crowds at the time. She was living in a forester's hut inside a national forest in Yamanashi Prefecture.
さーて、連れ帰ったはいいものの、どうしたものか。
何も考えてなかったのね。やっぱり。
あ、つかなんでお前までついてきてんだよ。自分のマンションに帰れよ。
She's gotta keep an eye on you two.
あなたとこの子を二人きりにしておくのが心配だからでしょうが。
ふざけろ。ガキじゃあるめえし。こんな子供にレイプされるほど弱かねえっつの。
I did. Okay, hold on there.
あんたのこと心配してるんじゃないわよ。ねえ、そこは理解して。
I was gonna say, it's like...
よし、まずは風呂だな。
Oh, Jesus.
人の話全然聞いてないし。っていうかなんでお風呂？
I'm not ready for a bath.
いや、こいつろくに風呂にも入ってねえんだろう。野良犬みてえな匂いすんだよ。嗅いでみ。
どれ？うわ、ほんと、なんか臭い。
つうわけで風呂だ。私がこいつ洗ってる間に、お前ちょっとこいつの服買ってきてくれ。
I hope you actually hose me down. I hope you actually take me outside and just spray me with a hose. That's the dream.
え、ちょっと、まさか一緒に入るつもり？
こんな状態で一人で入れるわけねえだろ。何か問題が？
Damn it. I was hoping I was just a hose.
それは、なんていうか、変な気は起こさないでよ。
What does that mean?
はあ？何言ってんだお前。いいから行ってこいよ。金は私の財布持っていけ。
うん。
よーし、ユージ風呂入るぞ。ほら、万歳しろ。万歳。
Okay, I'm gonna probably I'm gonna just do a ... There's nothing, you get nothing out of me.
なんだお前。 ガリガリでカリンコリンの体しやがって。飯食わねえからだ。
She's gonna force food down my damn throat. Oh god, don't look at me.
あ、おい JB、 ついでに飯も買ってきてくれよ。コンビニ飯でいいから。
Don't look at me, I'm hideous. Stop looking.
おい、聞いてんのか？
You never seen someone this disgusting looking?
じゃねえよ。飯も買ってきてくれって言ってんだろ。
あ、飯ね。コンビニでいい？
That is what she said, yes.
だからそう言っただろうが。ガキの裸に見とれてボケっとしてんなよ。
God, JB, you're creepy.
別にそういうわけじゃ。
いいから行ってこいって。飯は3人分、酒は2人分だ。
They're gonna have a drink after this.
私は飲まないわよ。今日車だし。
私が2人分飲むんだよ。
あ、そう。
こいつの服買ってくんの忘れんなよ。
Buy me like liquid food. That way it's easier for me to eat, even though because you're gonna have to force it down my throat. Because
わかってるわよ。
honestly, it wasn't as if I'd been staring at the boy's slender body itself. I'd just been startled by the fact that it was absolutely covered in scars. I know, JB. I was just joking about the creepy thing, all right? Because Yuuji's skin was mottled with deep bruises that seemed to indicate long years of physical abuse. A number of jagged red lines testified to wounds that had been roughly stitched shut. It was a painfully pitiful sight. Not to mention, when Hasko forcibly pulled off his clothes, he hadn't resisted in the slightest. It seemed like something he was very much used to. The blank look on his face was probably a self-defense mechanism. When you don't allow yourself to feel any emotions, nothing can really hurt you. It was the kind of coping method you might have expected from a traumatized veteran of countless wars. In that respect, maybe someone like Hasko really was the only one capable of understanding the boy. Yeah, I can see that.